The reunion. I stared at the email for a full 5 minutes, my coffee growing cold beside my laptop. The subject line read, 15-year college reunion, save the date. My stomach clenched as memories flooded back. Memories I'd spent years trying to bury beneath achievements and therapy sessions. You okay? Asked Maya, my assistant, pausing at my office door. You look like you've seen a ghost. Several ghosts, actually, I replied, swiveling my screen toward her. From Westlake University. Maya knew some of my college stories. The painful ones I'd shared during late nights at the office when deadlines loomed and personal barriers lowered. Are you going to go? She asked. Good question. 15 years ago, I'd left that campus vowing never to look back. Now I ran Horizon Digital, a social media marketing agency with offices in 3 cities. I'd built something from nothing, worked myself to exhaustion, and finally found success on my own terms. I don't know, I said honestly, but a voice inside, the voice of that awkward, wounded 20-something, whispered, show them. My name is Eliza Chen, though back at Westlake, I was just Easy Chen, a nickname coined by Victoria Layton during sophomore year when she caught me crying after failing an important presentation. The name stuck, becoming shorthand for a pushover, doormat, easy target. Victoria and her friends, whom I'd mentally labeled the circle, made college a special kind of hell. They were beautiful, confident, and connected. Their parents were executives and politicians. Mine were immigrants who ran a small grocery store and spoke broken English. The circle found endless entertainment in mocking my thrift store clothes, my scholarship status, my accent when I got nervous. The worst betrayal came senior year. I'd been dating James Harrington for 3 months, my first serious relationship. I still remember the hollow feeling when I discovered he'd only asked me out on a bet from the circle. $50 to date the charity case until spring break. I confronted Victoria at a party after finding out. It's just a joke, Easy, she laughed, champagne sloshing in her glass. Don't be so sensitive. James needed the money for his Cancun trip. The others had laughed. I'd left campus the next day, completed my final semester remotely, and skipped graduation. I think you should go, said Ria, my best friend and Horizon CFO, when I showed her the invitation over dinner that night. Why would I subject myself to that? I asked, stabbing at my salad. Because you're not Easy Chen anymore, she said simply. You're Eliza fucking Chen, CEO of one of the fastest growing digital agencies in the Midwest. You're the woman who landed the Velocity account when everyone said it was impossible. You drive a Tesla, own a condo overlooking the river, and have 150 people who depend on you for their livelihoods. Those things don't matter to people like Victoria, I argued. Ria raised an eyebrow. Are you kidding? Those things are all that matter to people like Victoria. I sipped my wine, considering. I'm not the same person they knew. Exactly. Ria's eyes gleamed. And I want to be there when they realize it. The RSVP form had a space for notable achievements. I stared at it for a long time before typing. Founder and CEO, Horizon Digital. Named to Forbes 40 Under 40. Board member of the Asian American Business Alliance. Recently completed my first marathon. I hesitated before adding, single by choice. The day of the reunion, I woke at 5 a.m., my usual time. I completed my morning run, answered urgent emails, then spent more time than I'd like to admit selecting my outfit. I settled on a custom-tailored navy suit, Louboutin heels, and the jade pendant my mother had given me when I launched Horizon. Remember, Ria said, as we drove to the hotel where the reunion was being held, you're not there to get revenge. You're there because you have nothing to prove. Right, I nodded, though my racing heart suggested otherwise. Victoria Layton hadn't changed much in 15 years, still blonde, still perfect, still commanding attention at the center of a small group. Her face registered surprise when she saw me, quickly masked by a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Eliza Chen, she exclaimed, air-kissing both my cheeks. You actually came. I wasn't sure you'd show. Wouldn't miss it, I replied smoothly. Victoria, this is Riya Patel, my CFO and oldest friend. Victoria's eyes widened slightly at the title. CFO? Of what? Horizon Digital, I said. We're a marketing agency. Oh, like a little startup? I smiled. We were about 12 years ago. Now we have offices in Chicago, Minneapolis, and Denver. Before she could respond, a man joined us, James Harrington, looking older and softer around the middle, but still handsome in that conventional way that had once made my heart race. Eliza, he said, recognition dawning. Wow, you look different. James, I acknowledged coolly. How are you? Good, good, he nodded, though something in his expression suggested otherwise. I'm in pharmaceutical sales now, based in Indianapolis. That's great, I said. An awkward silence fell. Riaz squeezed my arm and whispered, I'm getting drinks. Champagne. Left alone with my former tormentors, I found myself surprisingly calm. The anxiety I'd anticipated had been replaced by something like anthropological curiosity. These people who had once loomed so large in my nightmares now seemed ordinary. So, are you married? Victoria asked, her eyes dropping to my bare ring finger. Kids? No to both, I replied. My company's been my priority. You? Victoria brightened. Married to Bradley Thompson. He's over there, investment banking, and we have twins, Madison and Mackenzie. They're in the gifted program at Lakeside Academy. Congratulations, I said sincerely. James shifted uncomfortably. I got divorced last year, he offered. She took the house and most of my 401k. I'm sorry to hear that, I said, surprised to find I actually meant it. The evening progressed predictably. Speeches, awards, slideshows of old photos. I found myself seated at a table with several members of the circle, now transformed into middle-aged professionals with mortgages and reading glasses. Melissa Banks, once Victoria's second-in-command, worked in real estate but was taking time off after her agency downsized. Translation, unemployed. Derek Wilson, who'd once loudly suggested I receive ESL classes, despite English being my first language, now ran his father's struggling car dealership and complained bitterly about online competition ruining everything. And Victoria, I discovered, had launched 3 different entrepreneurial ventures in the past decade. A skincare line, a lifestyle blog, and most recently, an attempt at becoming a social media influencer specializing in luxury travel. The algorithm keeps changing, she complained over dessert. It's impossible to build a following these days unless you're already famous or willing to make a fool of yourself. Algorithms can be challenging. I agreed, not mentioning that understanding those very algorithms had built my company. James, increasingly drunk as the night wore on, kept shooting me strange looks. During a lull in the conversation, he leaned over. I've followed your career, he slurred slightly. Saw an article about you in Chicago business last year. You really made it. Thank you, I said. I always knew you were smart, he continued. Smarter than all of us. I raised an eyebrow. That's not how I remember it, James. He had the grace to look ashamed. Yeah, well, I was an asshole in college. We all were. Yes, I agreed. You were. The moment I'd been dreading arrived when the reunion committee announced their then and now presentation. Photos from our college days flashed on the screen, interspersed with current professional headshots pulled from LinkedIn and social media. When my face appeared, there was an audible murmur. My college photo showed a painfully thin girl with bad posture and uncertain eyes. Beside it, my professional headshot, confident, polished, powerful. The caption read, Eliza Chen, Forbes 40 under 40, CEO of Horizon Digital. Victoria's smile tightened. Melissa whispered something in her ear. I felt eyes on me from around the room. After the presentation, people I barely remembered approached me. Business cards extended, LinkedIn connections requested. Former classmates who had never spoken to me now claimed to have always admired my work ethic. A man who once loudly asked if I'd done his math homework, yet wondered if I was taking on new clients. The irony wasn't lost on me. Want to get out of here? Ria asked around 10 p.m. We could hit that jazz bar you like. I considered it, but something kept me in place. Not yet, I said. There's something I need to do first. I found Victoria alone at the bar, ordering another glass of wine. Her perfect makeup couldn't hide the lines of strain around her eyes. Eliza, she said when I approached. Quite a night for you. You must be enjoying this. It's been educational, I replied, taking the seat beside her. She laughed bitterly. I bet. The triumphant return of Eliza Chen, tech mogul. Come to show us all how far you've risen. Is that what you think this is about? Isn't it, she challenged. Revenge of the nerd and all that? You're here to rub your success in our faces. I considered her words. Was that why I'd come? The hurt 20-year-old inside me had certainly fantasized about this moment. But sitting here now looking at Victoria, still beautiful but somehow diminished, I realized revenge wasn't what I wanted. Actually, I said carefully, I came because I was afraid of not coming. For years, you and the circle were these mythic figures in my mind. You had so much power over how I saw myself. I needed to see if you still did. Victoria looked surprised. And you don't, I said simply. You're just people. Flawed, complicated people like me. She was quiet for a long moment, swirling her wine. You know, I always envied you, she finally said. I couldn't hide my disbelief. You envied me? You were so smart. Everything came easily to you. My parents were paying full tuition, and I was barely maintaining a C average. She shook her head. And you were genuine. I never was. Still struggling with that, according to my therapist. I didn't know what to say. This vulnerability from Victoria was more disorienting than any insult could have been. I'm sorry for how we treated you, she said quietly. It was cruel and I've regretted it. The apology hung between us, unexpected and imperfect. I could have rejected it, could have detailed all the ways their actions had damaged me. Instead, I nodded. Thank you for saying that. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Victoria straightened, composing herself. So, this company of yours, do you ever take on influencer clients? Help them with the algorithm? I couldn't help but laugh. Some things never changed. We generally work with larger brands, but I pulled out my card. Have your people email my people. We'll see. Later, as Ria and I walked to the car, she asked, was it what you hoped? I thought about Victoria's apology, about James's drunken regrets, about the strange mixture of pity and compassion I'd felt watching my former tormentors navigate their own disappointments. It was better, I decided. I didn't get revenge. I got something else. What's that? She asked. Perspective. I smiled, slipping off my uncomfortable heels before getting into the car, and the absolute certainty that living well really is the best revenge. As we drove away from the hotel, I felt something shift inside me, a weight lifting, a door closing. The girl they called Easy Chun had finally found her peace, not through vengeance, but through the simple, powerful act of moving forward. My phone buzzed with a notification, a LinkedIn connection request from Victoria Layton. I laughed and put my phone away. That was a decision for tomorrow. Tonight belonged to me. The end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible content.